All right, family. So today's training, we're going to be doing entry points on simple scalper. But we're going to not only be using horizontal lines, but I'll show you guys how to create entry zones as well, because that may be helpful for people who have a hard time like pinpointing exactly when and where to get in. So before I really get into that, I am going to check the news just so our session is not in vain. In case any of you guys want to take the trade ideas throughout the session. So pretty much what I'm looking for here is that I don't see any red folders. Around 12:30 in the morning, AUD had a red folder, but we're way past that time. As long as it's 2 hours before or 2 hours after, you see a red or orange folder, you should be good to trade. But right now, all my folders are yellow, so that's pretty good. And I don't really see a folder on other currencies, so that's good. The next thing, the next thing I'm gonna do is go to live charts. I'm gonna go to live charts just to check the currency strengths as well. These are just two steps that you always want to do before you, not before every trade, but before every session, pretty much. So let's just say we were looking at Euro GBP, right? We would know that Euro GBP will be buying simply because the euro is the first currency in that pair and it has more bars. If we were looking at the currency pair GBP USD, um, then we would know that that currency pair will be selling because the first currency is weaker, right? So we know that we're in an uptrending market if the first currency in a currency pair has more bars, right? We know we're in the selling market if the second currency in the currency pair has more bars. So family, if we were going to be looking at AUD JPY, for example, would that market be buying or selling? Okay. Yep. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Carter. It will be selling simply because the JPY has more bars. And what if we were looking at Euro JPY? That's a close one, but if we were looking at Euro JPY, would it be buying or selling? Yep, still selling, still selling, still selling. Awesome. So it's really that simple when you're checking currency strength. I mean, you really want to know that because if the market is overall going up, and I'll show you guys what I mean when we get into the examples. If the market is overall going up, you know you're more so going to be looking for buys, right? No matter if it does turn around and have like a reversal, it is going to sell a little bit, but you know overall is buying. So you really want to look for the in a buying market. You want to look for the dips when it comes down, even on the red candle, just because you know it's going to bounce back up. Because overall for the day, it's a buying market. And the same thing for a sell. If it's a selling market, you know you're mainly going to be focused on the sells. Even though you may have some blue candles in there, once it gets to the top of that blue candle, that's probably going to be a great place to sell. So hopefully we'll see some good examples of that. So we check the news, we check the currency strength. The next thing we want to do is just check the payout, right? So my favorite currency pair, everybody knows, is Euro USD. So everybody can go to Euro USD. It is paying out pretty nice as well. I prefer this because it's just very consistent. And I've had a lot of wins with this. I also recommend everybody keep like a trading journal. So you can write down your trades, and write down whether you won or lost by how many points, like just something simple. So when you go back and look at that at the end of the week or the end of the month, you could be like, yo, I love GBP, JPY, or I love Euro USD, simply because of the results that you've gotten from that. So if that makes sense and you guys understand the first steps of pretty much how to get into the trade and find your currency pair, drop a 333 in the chat. And if at any point in time I start breaking up, drop a 444 in the chat. Okay, cool. So the next thing, after you do those little preliminary steps, you're gonna want to go to your Liberty scanner. I do not use Cashapp, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's just another strategy on the Hourglass scanner. I'm not using the Hourglass scanner. I'm using the Liberty scanner. Okay. Oh, that's not my password. Oh man, hold on, y'all. It says I'm logged in from another browser. 1 second. It might be this one. don't know where I'm logged in yet, y'all. One second. I can't find it. It says I'm logged in, but I'm not. I don't know. I have to wait pretty much 5 minutes to log in. So I'll just share my screen and show y'all some other things to look for while we wait for 5 minutes to pass. So pretty much, I'm not sure which broker everybody is using, but for the purpose of this demonstration, we are going to be using 1 minute trades. So you can change your purchase time to M1. I know somebody asked earlier, what's the difference between the time frames? I just prefer M1 because if you know or start to understand like the concept of support and resistance, which is pretty much like the highest point where the market will sell and the lowest point where the market will buy, it becomes a lot simpler to find entry points on any time frame because you know what you're looking for. It's really not a matter of the time frame; it's a matter of what the market is doing at that point in time. We really don't need 10 points to clear. We don't need 20 points to clear. We don't have TPs. We don't have stop losses. It's pretty much as long as you have 1 point to clear, you're fine, and you really can snipe these entry points. It's really not hard at all. So I'm trying to wait for my scanner to load, but also everybody, please switch to your demo account because we are going to go on trade examples. So sometimes I will say, okay, get in just to show you that, okay, we would not have won this trade for that reason. So make sure that if you are taking the trade ideas throughout the session, that you're just paying attention to what I'm actually saying, because sometimes I'll be demonstrating what a loss actually looks like. For people who are new or have been in the business less than 7 days, we only go by the last 3 digits of the price. So if I were to say get in for a sell, we will already be on the correct currency pair. We would just wait for the market to get to the last 3 digits. Let's just say if it was 555 and I say sell, as soon as you see this turn to 555, you would get in for a sell by clicking the red button, and vice versa. If I say when the market gets to 555, you buy. When this touches 555, you would click the green button and you would get in for a buy. Typically, after you find your entry point on the scanner, which we'll get back to in a second, you can set something called a pending order. And this will be really helpful if you have the HFX Swipes app for iPhone or Android. If you guys have downloaded and clear off the app, just drop some blue faces in the chat if you really like the Swipes app so far. Let's see. Let's see what's the verdict on that. Because the best way to capitalize off of the Swipes app is to put in pending trades. And it's really, really, really simple to do so. So let's just say we knew the market was going to push back up to 460, right? Let's just say, right? Instead of sitting here and waiting for the market to actually push back up to 460 right now, we could just set a pending trade, right? So typically what I'll do is I'll get my trade ideas off of the Liberty scanner. I'll come back and plug in my pending trade. And also what the Swipes app does is it sends you the trade idea and entry point, but again, the market may not be there. So we're going to demonstrate. So you get your price that you need. Let's just say 460 for sell. And this is only for pocket option people. I don't know if other brokers offer pending trades, but you would have your entry point in your head. You would click pending trades, right? The second step you would need to do is click by asset price, right? So the asset is Euro USD, right? And we know that when it gets to 460, we want to sell. So of course, we're going to change these last three numbers to 460 or whatever the pending order is. A very important step is to always, always, always change the payout to 70, right? Because we don't want anything under 70, but everything above 70, we would want that trade to trigger. So we're going to put 70, always, always, always. It doesn't matter what the current payout is. Your time frame, you can keep it on M1, and then you would just put the same trade amount that you would put into a regular trade, and then you would click sell, right? Because we know at 460 or higher, we want to get in for a sell. So whenever the market actually hits that point, the trade is going to trigger automatically, even if you don't have your pocket option open, even if you're not in the app at the moment, you'll still be put into the trade. And all current or future trades that you have put, they'll be up here, right? So you can see where you're going to get in. Okay, when the market gets to 460, you're going to get in for a sell. In any order, let's just say if you do have the Swipes app, they'll send an update and say, cancel it, right? So if you want to cancel a pending order because the market is going in the other direction, you just do that, right? So we might see this trade trigger right now. We might not. That was just an example, but let's see if we can get to the Liberty scanner and not have to wait another 5 minutes. Yay. All right, y'all. So now we can start the real training. But if that was helpful, and you learned something, drop a 111 in the chat. All right. So to access your strategies, you go to goliberty.im. You use your same login that you use for everything IM Academy related. And then in the top left corner, you're going to see strategies. And we're going to be using Simple Scalper 2.0. Simple Scalper 2.0. Right? So I'm going to be showing you guys entry points and entry zones. Right? But before I do that, I am going to go over the confirmations for this strategy. If you know how to use Simple Scalper 2.0 already, drop a SS in the chat. If you do not know how to use this strategy, just drop a question mark just so I can see how in-depth I should go with the overview. Okay, cool. Okay, okay. Okay. All right, awesome. So I'll do a quick little refresher. But for the most part, a lot of people do know how to use this strategy. It's very simple. IM Academy pretty much color codes all of their strategies. So if you see all blue, right, you literally want to see blue going straight down your screen. If you can see all blue, you know that you should go for a buy. And if you see all red, you know that you should be going for a sell, right? So the first thing you want to do is select your strategy. And to change your currency pair, you just click on your screen and you start typing. So I'm going to type Euro USD and I'm going to put it on the M5, right? And the reason why I like to analyze on the 5 minute is because I need to give the candle time to develop so I can see how many times it's actually going to test this point. Right now, if I only have 60 seconds to see how many times it's going to do something, it's only so long before I have enough time to actually get into the trade. So 5 minutes gives it a little bit more time. I could say, oh, it tested that point 1 time. Okay, it tested that point 2 times. Okay, it retested that point 3 times. That must be a good entry point for a sell, right? So first, we're going to go over the confirmations and what you will look for. Because the confirmations aren't directly aligned in the current market, I'm just going to go back to the past for 1 second just to show you guys what a buy or sell example will look like on this strategy. I just want a very clear example. All right, so this is cool. This is a good one, right? So like I said, when you're looking for a buy with this strategy, you pretty much want everything to be blue, right? So you should see a blue candle. You should see a blue line. You should see a blue cloud. And you should see a blue line, right? So if you literally can look and see all blue, that just means that that's a really good place to buy. And I'll show you how you should find your entry point as well. But you will ask yourself these questions. These will be the buy confirmation questions, right? They would be, do I see a blue candle? Wait, let me type this too, so y'all can take a screenshot. It would be, these are the buy confirmations. Buy confirmations. It would be 1, do I see a blue candle? The second one would be, is my blue candle above my purple dot? Right? And the purple dot is called the SAR. And it's just showing like where the trend of the market is. The third question would be, do I see a blue pen on my second window? Right? And that would just be this blue pen right here, because this is just telling us that the market is buying at the moment, which would confirm what we're seeing up here, right? The fourth question would be, do I see a blue line in my third window, right? And then the fifth question would be, do I see a blue cloud in my third window, right? So this is the first window where the candles typically are, and the bottom two will just simply have more indicators, right? So here are the buy confirmations. Let me actually turn this blue and make it a little bigger so y'all can screenshot this. And when y'all screenshot it, just drop a 777 in the chat. Or once you screenshot or wrote it down. All right, awesome. Right? So we literally just want to know, like, we need to ask ourselves these questions. And if you answer yes to these questions, right? Wait, let me give y'all some bonus questions, right? Because you really only need to answer yes to 4 of these questions to know, okay, I should get into this trade. But the bonus questions, right? These are just even extra confirmations. You will ask yourself, is my blue candle near my blue Bollinger Band, right? And I'll show you guys what that is. And then, is my blue candle above the thin red line? This is for the Liberty scanner, so you can be using any broker to ask yourself these questions. At this point, you're just trying to confirm. So the bonus questions will be, is my blue candle near my blue Bollinger Band, which would be this line right here? And is my blue candle above the thin red line, right? So once you guys add the bonus question, just drop a 111 in the chat once you write it down or take a screenshot. And then we're going to look for another buy example. We're going to do the sell examples, right? And then I'm going to show you guys how to find entry points at least 2 different ways. All right, awesome. All right, let me know. I need some more ones in the chat. It's a lot of people in here. All right, awesome. Awesome. So now that we have those questions, I'm gonna just copy this because I'm gonna do the same thing for a sell. But for now, I'm just gonna delete it. And we're gonna ask ourselves these questions, right? To see if this would have been a good candle for a buy. Not only will it say buy when you have all the confirmations, but let's just say we didn't have the confirmations right there. All right, y'all. So we're gonna look at this candle right here. So the first question would be, and then if the answer is yes, y'all, just drop a yes in the chat, right? So the first question, if we're looking for a buy, do I see a blue candle? Oh, we're looking at this candle right here. Is my blue candle above my purple dot? Let me just make this a little thicker. I mean, a little darker for people who cannot see that. All right, so that's very clear now. Is my blue candle above the purple dot? We got some yeses. Do I see a blue line in my second window? Right? And do I see a blue line? And do I see a blue cloud? Right? So we're going to get yeses all the way down for those questions. So the very next thing we would do, like once you get at least 4 yeses, right? You're like, okay, bet this looks like this market is mainly buying, right? Let me get a horizontal line. So to get your horizontal line, you come to this left panel over here. You select horizontal line. I like to change the color to something that's not on my screen and then also make it a little bit thicker so I can actually see it, right? So buy candles actually open at the bottom because price goes up, right? It opens up here. I mean, opens down here and then price goes up. And then sell candles open at the top because price is dropping and it's going down. So we got our yeses on this candle. We're going to take a horizontal line and we're going to put it at the bottom of the candle, right? And now we just found our first entry point for the buy. So then whatever number pops up on the right, that's going to be your entry point, right? So it'll be 684 or lower for a buy, right? Because we want to get the best entry point as possible if price is going to go the opposite direction, right? Because if price is constantly going up and down, but we know price is going to go up, we want to get the lowest point possible, right? So just imagine like going to the mall and seeing something really expensive. You know you can buy it expensive, right? You can buy it at a high price, or you can just wait because you know it's going to go lower, and then you rather catch it on sale, right? If that makes sense, y'all, drop a 111 in the chat. And essentially, yes, T, that's what you will be doing. You're going to where price opened last time, the last highest price that price was open, right? And if you're using pocket option, if that's your broker, you just want to add 5 points, right? It's just one minor step. Yeah, it's one minor step that you have to do. but add 5 points because pocket option has a bit of a lag, right? So if the entry point says 684, then you would just say 689 or lower for the buy. Okay, you good, Monica? You got it? Okay, awesome. Right? So those are the buy confirmations. And that's one way to find your entry point. And I'm going to give you a second way as well after I go over the sell confirmations, right? So if you guys are good to find a buy, and you know what that looks like, just drop a 333. You don't have to turn the indicators on or off, Daniel. They're automatic whenever all the confirmations are perfectly aligned. So you don't really have to do anything. It pops up by itself whenever everything's like perfect. So you don't even have to ask yourself the questions, right? Because it's telling you what would have been the best entry point. Like, for example, we see the buy signal popped up right here. And even though there was a red line and a red cloud, it knew that the market was setting up for a buy. So you had everything you needed. And this would have been a really, oh, if you turned it off, just refresh it. Just refresh your page because typically when you log in and out of your scanner, it automatically updates. So just refresh your page. Oh, and if you want to change the size of your purple dot so that you can see them, just click on, like literally just click on the dot. Wait, and make sure it pops up as SAR and not Bollinger Band. If it pops up as BB, it's the wrong thing you click. It has to pop up as SAR. All right, and then you would just change the style. You would just pick any color you want, and then just change the thickness. All right, y'all. So we did a buy example. Now we're gonna do a sell example. Of course, it would just be the opposite. So let me write the questions on the screen, so that you guys could take a screenshot and follow along. So these are gonna be sell confirmations. So just give me a second to update this. So of course it would be, do I see a red candle? Right? Is my red candle below my purple dot? Do I see a red pin, right? Because now we need red to align all the way down. Do I see a red pin on my second window? Do I see a red line in my third window? And do I see a red cloud in my third window? Bonus questions would be, is my red candle near my red Bollinger Band? And is my red candle below the red line? All right. So once you guys have written this down or taken a screenshot, let me make it a little bit smaller. That's too big still. Drop a 777 in the chat once you have the sell confirmations. Yeah, we're always going to be looking at the most recent candle, but I'm just going back in the past to give you guys a clear example of what you should be looking for when it's actually time to get into the sell. Okay, cool. So everybody has it. So now we're just going to ask ourselves the questions, right? Let's look at this candle, right? And we can just see the questions right there. So the first question would be, and of course, if the answer is yes, family, just drop a yes in the chat. Do I see a red candle? Right? And you only need 4 yeses. You only go to the bonus question if you don't have your 4 yeses, because you're like, all right, now I need to make sure this is valid, right? So we got some yeses on the first question. That's 1. Is my red candle below my SAR? Right? That should be a yes. Do I see a red pin on my second window? Right? Is my, wait, no. Do I see a red line in my third window? Right? We do. Do I see a red cloud? Right? So we have enough yeses to actually get into the trade at this point. But if we didn't have enough yeses and we wanted to ask ourselves the bonus question, we could say, is my red candle near my red Bollinger Band, which is this line up here. The Bollinger Bands are a pair. It's this line, the top red line, the bottom blue line, and the middle red line. That's all the Bollinger Bands is one thing, one indicator, right? So we don't have it too close to there, but we do have it under the line. So we have more than enough confirmations to get in for this sell. So we would, of course, get a horizontal line, put it at the top of the candle, and our entry point would be 599 or higher, or 604 or higher, because remember, we're adding 5 points on pocket option, right? So if that seems easy enough and you guys think you know how to spot a buy and a sell, just drop easy in the chat. And I'm going to go over just one additional way that you could find your entry points. Yep, super easy, super easy, super easy. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete that. And we're going to look at this market in real time to see what's going on. All righty, let's see what's going on here, family. So we always are going to be analyzing the most recent candle, right? You only go back into the past for certain things. So I'm going to show you guys, of course, entry points and entry zones, but let's first see if this buy is even valid, right? So the first question, do we see a blue candle? Yep. Is the blue candle above the purple dot? Yes. Right? That's 2 yeses. Do we see a blue pen in our second graph? No. Okay, so we only got 2 yeses so far. Do we see a blue line in our third graph? Nope. So we still only got 2 yeses, but we do see a blue cloud. So that's 3 yeses. Now we got to move on to the bonus questions, y'all, because we have to. Is our blue candle near our blue Bollinger Band? Nope. But is it above the thin red line? Right. So that's 4 yeses, but because you had to use the bonus questions, it might be a little sketchy and a little risky, right? It might be a little sketchy and a little risky, but what you would do, right? Since the market hasn't officially turned around yet, which is why we see confirmations on both sides, you would just take your horizontal line and put it at, of course, the bottom of that candle. And that would tell us that at 429 or lower, right, we will be able to get in for a buy. But as we can see, we had to go to the bonus question, so the buy might be a little shaky, but let's really test it out, right? At 429 or lower, let's see. Right now we're at 442. We need 429 or lower for a buy. If and when you guys get in, just drop your entry points in the chat. So that will be an entry point, or you can also, of course, set a pending order. But if that made sense, you guys understand why we got in for a buy, right? And how we found our entry point, drop a 777 in the chat. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Now, the thing about the Bollinger Bands, and I'm just going to teach you guys about this indicator really quickly. The thing about the Bollinger Bands is that it's always going to let you know when the market is going to reverse, right? So whatever line the market is close to, that's typically what it's about to do. I mean, I'm just going to go back to the past for, again, a few seconds just to show you guys. Well, I don't even have to go back that far. So I'm going to zoom out, and I always say this, right? These I didn't put the lines on the chart, but they're called Bollinger Bands, right? So if I zoom out and I make my candles really tiny, I'll see that most of what's happening in the market is literally happening between these two lines, right? If you guys can see, right, literally just see that price typically does not go outside of the Bollinger Bands. Drop a 333 in the chat. And I don't really have to go back too far because it really never goes outside the bands, right? It rarely ever does. So when it does start to go outside the bands, that's how you know the market is about to turn around and actually go the other direction, right? So I like to, the analogy I always use is I say the candles are the cars, right? And the Bollinger Bands are the side of the road, right? Cars have to stay in the middle of the road. And when they start to drift, right, they're going to have to adjust themselves to get back in line, right? So we can see right here, all right, shout out to the pending orders, right? So I'm gonna just show you guys why the Bollinger Bands are a pretty cool and important indicator, right? So we see that the candle started to push outside of the Bollinger Bands right here, family. Do y'all see that, right? If y'all can see that, drop a yes, right? The candle started to push outside of the Bollinger Bands. All right. And when it started to push outside of the Bollinger Bands, right around there, that's when the market started to sell. Because remember, price will always readjust itself to be between these two lines, right? So the Bollinger Bands are such a good indicator for indicating reversals. Like if I look right here, we see the market was selling, 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 selling. We see the sellers ran out of momentum, right? Outside of the Bollinger Bands. And then what happened, family? When the candles pushed outside of the Bollinger Bands on the bottom, what happened? It reversed. Thank you, Jojo. It reversed and it started to buy, right? And then look at this. Candles started to push outside of the Bollinger Bands. It reversed and then it started to sell, right? It didn't even get too far outside. It started to buy, right? So the market is always going to be doing these patterns, right? Right? Yes, exactly, Dave. That means that it's starting to be overbought, right? That's exactly right. Overbought, oversold. Overbought and oversold. The Bollinger Bands are really good things for reversals, right? So now that we know that, right? We got in for that buy. I don't know what happened. Let me know what happened on that trade, y'all, because we did know it was a risky one. But now we're going to understand why, if you did not clear that trade, why you did not pretty much clear that trade. So as you can see, our candles, right, we're getting closer and closer to the red Bollinger Band, right? They were getting closer and closer into the red Bollinger Band, telling us that that sell was about to happen, right? So not only was it setting up for a sell, so typically when you see the candles getting higher and higher, you can continue to buy, right? You may have cleared those, but you also want to start looking for your sell, right? So when you do see the candles getting closer to either or, you want to put a line at the top and you want to put a line at the bottom, right? Because we can clearly see that the candles are staying in that zone. Does that make sense, y'all? If that makes sense, drop a 333 in the chat. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. It's very, very, very simple because the market is literally just based on support and resistance. Um, and another cool way to really find your entry points, you can just like, the main thing that you need to know about the market is you really just need to know like market geometry, right? You need to know how to identify these reversal points. So that the Bollinger Bands will tell us one thing about that, but then you also need to know that you don't really need to have an exact entry point. You really can have an entry zone, which is what I'll show you guys. So having an entry zone is like a mixture of both, right? So this is what you would do. First, you would collect your confirmations for whatever direction, or you could do your analysis before. It really doesn't matter. I always do my analysis beforehand, but in this case, instead of getting a line, you would go to the paintbrush and you would get a rectangle, right? And what you want to put in this rectangle is any place that you see 3 wicks, right? So I see 3 wicks here, I see 3 wicks here, but because they're all close together, I'm just going to put them all in one box, right? I'm going to put them all in one box. And that's going to be my rectangle, right? And because it's at the top, we know that when things hit the top line, we know we're going to sell. So I'm just going to turn this box red, right? And that's just because, I don't know, why not? I'm going to turn the box red because I know that if price, it doesn't even have to get to a specific point, but I know because price was rejected, and I'll just circle this so you guys can see what I mean. I know that if price was rejected here, like it touched that point and went down, it touched that point and went down, it touched that point and went down, same thing, it touched that point and went down on all of these candles, right? Now, all these candles didn't open and close at the same place, but they opened and closed in the same zone, right? So if you're going to set an entry zone, your top box will be red, and then you can make another box where you see wicks at the bottom. I always like to have at least 3 because it's like, I know that, like I said earlier, if it tested and retested this area more than 3 times, then that's a good area for a buy or sell. So I'm gonna just put these wicks down here, right? And I can even move it up a little bit because I have a wick right there. But because it's at the bottom, I'm gonna turn this box blue, right? Because I know that if price pushes into that box, I'm going to buy, right? But we know because of the confirmations, we could just count your confirmations over, right? So now it's a blue candle. And all we really are doing, family, is waiting for a price to push into this blue box. Of course, you still need a horizontal line. So you can put one at the top of the box. You should put one in the middle of the box because that's going to be obviously the average. And you could put one at the bottom of the box. So now you have essentially 3 zones, right? You know that if it goes to 359, 60, 61, 62, 60, you know if it goes to 364 or lower, it can buy. But you know if it drops past that, it's going to go to 335. And if it drops past that, it's going to go to 314, right? If that's making sense, y'all, just drop a 111 in the chat, and then we're going to test it out. We're gonna wait for the market to get to, well, we can actually bring the box up, right? You can bring the box up as high as the highest wick. So let me just adjust it to, I'm using this wick, y'all, right? I'm using that wick, so I can just adjust it, right? And then I'm gonna put a line there. I'm gonna put a line in the middle, and I'm gonna put a line at the bottom. So I have the lowest point I can get in, the highest point I can get in, the average point where I could get in, and the lowest point where I could get in. So it looks like I can get in for a sell at 380 or low. A buy at 380 or lower. We can test that out. And then the sell is going to be, oh, we need to do the same thing up there. All right, what did it say? 380 or lower. All right, let's test that out. Let's test it out. And the reason why I love my demo account, family, is because you can always test out a zone to see if it's valid before you lose money in your real account. Like, if you can test it out, why would you not test it out? All right, so we just waiting for 380 or lower for that buy. And if it does drop way below 380, we know that the next entry point we're going to be looking for is around 350. So let's just see what happens. If you guys, if and when you guys get to the trade, let me know. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. And what was our sells? Let's see. Our sell points are, well, we can move this down. And you really only want to be touching the wicks because the wicks tells you a price was tested. So we know we can sell at around 420 or higher, and we can buy at 380 or lower. All right, look at that. All right, so I got in at 378. Let me know if and when you guys got in. Okay, 379. 378, okay. 377, 379, okay, not bad. And remember, we already know that if price breaks past that zone, we already have our next two entry points, right? If you guys are in profit, drop in profit in the chat, right? Drop in profit in the chat. All right, awesome. We still have about 30 seconds left in this trade. So we're just going to wait and see what happens. But we are expecting a clear simply because price was in our entry zone, right? Let's just see what happens. We got 15 seconds. This market is a selling market. It does want to drop, but we already know that. This is so close. Oh, that was a close one. That was a really close one, family, but we know that we should be focusing on the sells, right? We know that we should be focusing on the sells simply because we can just look and see we now have more confirmations for the sell, but that's okay. Price is still in our buying zone. Price is still in our buying zone. It's going to go back up. Don't worry. We just got in too early and we don't have rollover. So, but that's pretty much how you use entry zones, family. We can do another example just so you guys can see how it will work, but sorry, let me refresh this. But if that makes sense, family, and if this is like easy to see and it's easier like to find entry points, drop a 111 in the chat. Yeah, if you guys are taking lessons, that's actually good. So I hope you're in your demo account. I always emphasize that on a training session, you should be in your demo because you are learning, right? Sorry, family, if you want to, you can actually wait for it to push down to the second entry point, which is going to be around 350, or you can focus on the same one. However, again, we can count the confirmations. Well, we can also, I don't know why this thing won't disappear, y'all. Sorry. I'm probably going to have to do it over. I mean, you can definitely extend the trade time if you want. But I don't trade on anything other than 1 minute. You don't really have to do that. But like I said, if you understand the concept of what I'm doing, you can analyze this on the 15 minute. You can analyze this on the 1 minute, the 3 minute, the 5 minute. So yeah, family, if you guys can see, what was that last one? It was a buy at 378. Okay, see, look, some people would have cleared. you would have cleared. It just we just got in too early. So you can change, you like, feel free to change your time frame, because the Liberty Scanner actually, sorry y'all, the Liberty Scanner actually lets you analyze it on a 2-minute as well. So let me go to, I'll just switch it to the 2 minutes so you guys can see how that would be, because the boxes actually stay. And then you can 1 second, y'all. These updates be killing me. All right, I don't see my boxes anymore. They look like they disappeared, but I'll put them back and I'll do another example. Let me see if I'll go to a different currency pair just so we can take it from the top. Oh, there it is. Okay, I can just switch it on this one. So I'm gonna switch it to the 2-minute, family, right? Now, if I switch it to the 2-minute, look, I have completely different entry points, right? So if you're trading on the 2-minute, you're gonna wanna switch this so that your boxes are more accurate, right? Now, clearly we would have to adjust this, and we can do that if you guys wanna trade on the 2-minute time frame, right? So I'm gonna delete all these lines. I'm gonna put my entry boxes back. So let's see. First, we need to ask ourselves the questions, right? So we got a red candle with a red line, a red pin. That's 3 confirmations. That's a little sketchy for the sell, but I'm gonna just still create the zone. So what I'm looking at is, I'm looking at the top of this red candle. I'm looking at this wick, and I'm looking at these past wicks. So those are the wicks that I'm gonna want in my box for the sell, right? So that's gonna be my sell zone. And you can make it smaller if you want. You don't have to make it that big. And then of course your buy zone, you just want to find some wicks at the bottom. I don't really see too many, but I see one right there, one right there. I see some flat candles, but you want at least 3. So we'll just say that that's our buy zone, because we do have some wicks in that area, right? So now you put your horizontal lines. You're gonna put one at the top. You're gonna put one in the middle, and you're gonna put one at the bottom. Right? So the lowest place we could get in for a sell would be 410 or higher for a sell, right? Because that's the very first line I have on my thing. And this is on a 2-minute analysis. You can get to the trade for 2 minutes, or you can still get in for 1 minute. Waiting for 4 or higher, right? And if it breaks past 415, we know we're going above that. If I'm breaking up, y'all, drop a 444. If I'm good, drop a 111. All right, I'll wait a second. Okay, I'm good now. All right. So what I was saying, y'all, is that we can see that on our entry. Now we have 3 entries for the sell. We have 409 or higher, 415 or higher, and about 425 or higher, right? So if the market gets to 410 or higher, that's going to be, there we go, or 415 or higher. All right, there we go. So you want to wait for the highest entry, right? You want to wait for the highest entry point, which would be 425 or higher. 425 or higher. And as we can see, it's getting there. Oh yeah, I'll explain the rectangles one more time. If you guys want to put in your pendant order for this, you can. We're just gonna wait for that 425 or higher. It's really playing. It's about to drop mad crazy. I don't want to miss it. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It's actually 423 or higher, y'all. If we add 5 points, sorry. And the low for the sell, the low for the buy was 385. All right, so if and when you guys get in, it's at 425 down, 425 or higher. Just let me know if y'all get into the trade. La 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 la. Then of course, if it breaks past, we already know which zone it's trying to climb to. So let's see. We got 35 seconds left. How do you know when it's going to stop at 416 when it paused? 420 clear? Okay, awesome. Did you get in for the buy or the sell, Tuffy? La, 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 la. And if we lose by 1 or 2 points, family, that's actually okay because it tells you that your entry point is valid. Like it tells you like, okay, that's a really good entry, but you just need a little bit more strength in one direction or the other. So let's just see what happens. We have about 5 seconds left. Yo, I feel like I got allergies and I don't even got allergies. All right, so I cleared that by the skin of my teeth. But I will go over where to place the rectangles again, because it's very, very, very simple. So I'm gonna go to a different currency pair just so we can take it from the top. So I'll go to Euro AUD. So once you get to Euro AUD, family, drop Euro AUD in the chat. And I'm sorry the session is going a little bit over today, y'all. All right, so once you switch your thing, all right, awesome. So now I'm on Euro AUD. I can look at it on the 2 minute, the 1 minute. You do just want to give yourself time for the candle to develop. So whatever you want to analyze on that, you can do that. Euro AUD. I'm gonna just start with M5. All right, y'all. So let's go through the confirmation questions. Let's see what we're starting with. We're starting with a blue candle. So we know we could potentially be looking for a buy. We see that that blue candle is above that purple dot. Okay, cool. That's 2 confirmations. We don't see a blue pin there, but we do see a blue cloud there. So that's 3. That's not really strong enough for me. And plus it's not really above the middle red line. So now I'll just change the time frame to see if I can get a better read, and that gets worse. And that gets even worse. So what I'm simply going to do is change the currency pair again. We're not going to stress ourselves out. We're going to go to GBP AUD. If you don't see the confirmations, you literally just go to a different pair as long as it's not in the news. So we're going to go to GBP AUD. All right, nothing. This is more so aligning for the sell than the buy, because we have the dot above the candles. We have a gray pin right there, and we have 2 things down there. So this thing is looking like it's gonna sell for a little bit more, but because it's pushing outside the Bollinger Bands, we're gonna be like it's about to do both actually. So this is actually a really good example. So whenever you see 3 wicks together, right, that should be an automatic. Or also, family, switch your pair to GBP AUD. Right? So this is a good example. Whenever you see 3 wicks together, that's going to be the first indication that you should definitely put a rectangle right there. Right? Because you need the market to test that zone at least 3 times so that you can know it's valid. So we're going to click our paintbrush. We're going to get a rectangle, and we're going to put the rectangle to cover these 3 lines. Because this is all the places that price was tested in the last 15 minutes, because these are 5-minute candles. And you want to lift up the bottom of the rectangular box, right, to the bottom of the body of the candle, right? Because we really need the whole wick to be covered, right? So now we have our sell zone, and we can just stretch it across like that if you want. I mean, we have our buy zone. So now we have actually some indicators for the buy, and this is when you just become more advanced, and you're not just looking at the indicators alone. You could say blue candle, and I know it's currently being oversold soon. So we can put our little buy box at the bottom just to set up for the future buy, right? We're going to change it blue so we can know. Ooh. Am I breaking up, y'all? If I'm breaking up, about 444. Good. All right, so I'll wait a second. All right, y'all, let me know when I'm good. All right, awesome. All right, awesome, y'all. So I set up my buy zone. simply because I have 3 wicks where price literally came down, then went back up, came down, and went back up, came down, and went back up. But price is still currently selling. I just don't want this to be a complicated example. So let's just finish the what we supposed to do. We're going to set up our 3 lines for a buy. We're going to put one at the top, right? That's the lowest place you could buy. We're going to put one in the middle. And we're going to put one at the bottom of the box, right? So now we have our 3 entry points. We have about 908 or lower. And since we see the candle is completely there, and that's the closest entry point to where it's at, that's the one we're going to go by. We obviously can't go by that one because price is lower than that. But this one is the one it's closest to, which is the 903 line, right? So it'd be 908 or lower for a buy, right? And if the market continues to drop, we know we're just going to look for the lower entry point at 871 or lower. So right now we're looking for 908 or lower for a buy. Dang. And let's see where we can sell at as well. And of course, like anything else, your sell would just be at the top of the red candle. That's just always a given. So the sell is at around 940, 950. And the buy is at around, the lowest place you could buy is 942. So we just got to watch this red candle to see if it's going to continue to sell or if it's going to buy, because it's in the buy zone. So we can wait for 908 or lower for the buy. But if it pushes up, if it continues to push up, it's going to be 950 or higher for a sell. If that makes sense, y'all, drop a 111 in the chat. I don't want to confuse y'all, because we only are looking at right now boxes and lines. But if it makes sense, drop a 111 in the chat. It's 950 because I just added about like 5 points to where the scanner was at. So again, we're going 908 or lower for a buy, 950 or higher for a sell. And this will be the last trade example because I don't want this video to be too long. It's already long. So now we're just going to see what happens. If you set a pending order, let me know. But we know we're more likely to buy than sell because the market is oversold, right? The market is oversold. And the lowest buy point, remember, if it breaks way past, the lowest buy point is at 876. So just be mindful once you have those things on your chart. If and when you get into the trade, please let me know so I can know what your entry point is and if that was valid. All right, dang, I'm about to say I almost missed it. All right, 906, 907. All right, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now this thing, again, we know because it's in our buy zone, it can push up, but because we still see the red candle, it could also drop to 970. So these are just things to be mindful of. I typically only focus on one side at a time, either buys or sells, but I'm showing you guys different ways to look at the market and different ways to actually find entry points. So right now it is in profit, which is really good. I still have a whole minute left in the trade. Let me know how much time you guys have left in the trade. All right, most people are in at 907. Awesome, I'm in at 906. We still have 45 seconds left. If we all got in at the same time. Are you clear? Awesome. How long were you in the trade for? It's really trying to get down to that 870. Are you cleared at 907? Awesome. I'm in at 906. All right, 1 minute. Okay. Shout out to people using pending. Ooh, look at this. It's really trying to drop down to 870, folks. But let's see. We got 20 seconds left. We got 20 seconds left. I mean, you could be on your demo or your live, but if I'm teaching, I just prefer everybody to be on your demo because we know that spike outs are going to happen. I want you to understand it without losing money if you don't have to. Right. So Daniel, does that make sense on where to place the box and how to use it? Or do you guys need one more example? So if you're looking for a sell, do you subtract 5 from the number? I typically just add 5 all the time. So if it's a buy or a sell, I'll just add 5. Right? Okay, cool. So I will do one more example. Let me zoom out of this. And I'm just gonna take it from the top, right? I'm gonna take it from the top. And it's like you don't always have to do entry zones, like, but it really just makes sense and it's helpful because you'll have a few entry points instead of stressing about one. And that's really the main thing. Placing boxes under 3 or more wicks for a buy and vice versa for a sell. Yep. Awesome. So let's see what this happening in a 1 minute. Sketchy. Sketchy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I got enough confirmations. You guys can see, once you pretty much have your confirmations, it like, or once you understand what you're looking for, you're not going to be on the charts all day. I literally can just come in here and look at this and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 confirmations for the sell, right? If you guys can see the 5 confirmations for the sell, just drop a 555 in the chat. If you can just look at this and see the 5 confirmations for a sell, right? Okay, awesome. Right? So we know we should be looking for a sell. So as soon as we confirm that, you always want to get a horizontal line there right away, just so you can have at least one entry point, right? So we're going to go with 907, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to go with 9, 12 or higher for a sell, simply because that's the first entry point that we have with the confirmations, right? The next thing you're going to do is get your, why does this keep popping up on my screen? This is blowing on right now. The next thing you want to do is get your rectangle. Because I have 2 wicks right there, but I guess I can use that one too, right? I'm going to open this up, and I just want to cover those wicks, right? I want to cover those wicks because these clearly are in the market. It was tested, right? So I'm just gonna cover those 1, 2, 3. If you see 3 together, you can mark up right another angle, and we see 3 wicks right there. We ain't missing. So if it's at the top, we want to turn it red. If you're looking for a sell, obviously, just to keep it color coded for yourself, right? Then you want to place your 3 lines. One at the bottom of the box. All right, y'all, am I good or am I breaking up? Somebody let me know. I don't know why I was doing this. Okay, awesome. So, all right, I just made a box and I just covered these 3 wicks. 1, 2, 3, right? I put a line at the bottom, right? Because this is the lowest point of resistance. This is a line in the middle because this is the average point of resistance, right? And I put a line at the top because this is the highest point of resistance, right? So if you ever get into a trade and a sell, but then the market decides to keep buying, right? It is disrespectful, but it's really just trying to get to the next area of resistance, right? And the 4 confirmations would be the red candle, that's 1. The candles under the purple dot, that's 2. The red line down here and the red cloud, so that's 4, right? So if the market isn't that high, it's clearly not at 942 yet. We're just going to put another horizontal line at the bottom of the red candle. So now we have 907, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 9, 12 or higher for the sell. And let's see if we can find a buy. Oh, yeah, we can definitely find a buy. You want to get your rectangle? You want to put it on these wicks at the bottom? So this zone is mad tight, but it's not impossible, right? And the candle is in the buy zone, and it's close to being oversold, right? So now let's put our lines on the buy side. And as you guys can see, the buy and the sell line are on the same exact side, but we know we should focus on the sell. It's on the same exact thing, which is really good. I love that. So if the market turns around, we know that's our entry point for the buy, right? So now we know we're looking for 848 or lower. 847 or lower for a buy, right? 847 or lower for a buy, 912 or higher for a sell. Okay, that's good. That's good. At least you're learning something, Ashanti, right? So this buy is pretty low. Let's see if we have a higher buy. Okay, the highest we can get in for a buy, it's the same place, depending on which way the market is going. 912 or lower if it's going to keep buying. But I will wait for the drop. Let's wait for the drop to like 885, right? Because we got another line right there. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. So we can buy at 885 or lower. And if it keeps dropping, we can buy at 850 or lower. Let's see how that goes. And we can sell at 912 or higher. If you got into the sell trade, you should be in profit right now. I mean, if you're in profit, just drop in profit in the chat. What did I say? I said 880 for the buy, 912 for the sell. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Shout out to you, Bree. But yeah, family, we are about to wrap this training up. I hope you guys did learn something. I just do want to wait until the market either goes up or down, just to test out the zone, of course, one more time. I am just waiting for the push up back to 912. And of course, if it breaks past 912, we know that it's going to 940. We know that it's going to 940. All right, so let's go. Sheesh. I love how it's staying right in the middle. That's perfect because we know that it's really consolidating. All right, let's see if we can find a higher buy. Nope. We just gonna have to wait. It's pushing down to 880, family. It's pushing down. Wow, this was a really long training, y'all. I am sorry. 890 is not good enough. I mean, for my risky folks, I would just still wait for the drop. I'm waiting for this line right here. I'm waiting because it's closer to the middle line, as we can see. The blue candle is closer to the middle line, so we just wait for it to drop below 880, which it should be getting to. Come on, market. All right, but you guys do have your zones and stuff like that. If you did learn something today, just drop 777, and I will know that my job is done. And then we're gonna wrap it up, family. You guys can. Oh, there we go. There we go. Damn, I'm in at 881. Ooh. I'm in at 881. Where did you guys get in at? I got in at 881. 878, not bad. 879, not bad. 877, not bad. Wow, we in deep profit right now. Well, we were. As long as it gets up back up to the 900s, and we clear up there, we should be fine. 881 to 878, okay, not bad. As long as I prefer for my trades to be 10 points in profit for me to feel really comfortable with it. So it looks like we're about to clear the next 15 seconds. Well, you're still in profit, Kayla, so that's good. 885, you say? Okay, not bad. Ooh. All right. Bang, that was nice. So we just cleared. But all right, family, let me start recording this. This is going to be a really long video, but I do think that it is going to be very helpful to people who go back and watch it. I am just going to wait until it gets to my email, and then I'll send it to y'all as well. So yeah, peace and profits, family. I will see y'all later. Catch y'all in the